Hi, it's Rashida. So for my final project, I decided to do the topic of how does the American ideal of self-reliance and determination compete with the African American ideal of community responsibility and upliftment. An additional question to that is how does the disconnect between these ideals play out in modern times for a Black woman who is further marginalized by gender and sexuality? I chose option C, which is the more creative piece. And so, just a little bit of background about me. I am a psychology major as well as a creative writing major, and I write poetry. I don't do it as often as I feel like I should. And so, my approach to the project is to incorporate things that are close to me. So I will be doing something called a quilted memoir, which is flash essays where I write about things that I experienced as a Black queer woman growing up and even now. And then I will also include some of my poetry. I have a series of poems actually that is written about the women in my family. I believe that we have a generation we share generational trauma, and that ties into the social science aspect of my approach. I did some research on um, trauma and how it is inherited or it can change your DNA. It's not necessarily inherited, but trauma can change your DNA. One of the articles that I read, this is a quote from it, it said that a study from the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that the sons of Union Army soldiers who endured grueling conditions as prisoners of war were more likely to die young than the sons of soldiers who were not prisoners. And so the way that that ties into this class is that we were reading about literature from basically the Civil War to World War One, and wars are very traumatic, pretty much. And then also, if you take into account one, slavery, very traumatic. If you take into the account the writers of the time, um, especially the Black writers who were male, they don't have the perspective of a Black queer woman. And so a lot of their approaches when it came to speaking out about um, what went on and post Civil War era with W.E.B. Du Bois and Washington, they were basically saying that um, they focused on, not basically saying, but they focused on the social problems of being non white instead of delving deeper into that and including at least the trauma of the experiences of slavery and living in a post Civil War era. So, like, of course, there were a lot of things that were not allotted to Black people at the time um, because of stigma and things like that. Um, and so I wanted to share just a little snippet of a poem that is going to be included in there. Hopefully, I actually have to figure out where to put it because it may not fit well. But this is also to show the trauma in the DNA. So it says, I kiss your tattoos, your chosen scars, in hopes to touch your hidden ones. I know you hurt. I observe the pain whenever I am around you, but I keep coming back for more. Call me a glutton for pain, or call me a healer. Call me what I am. And so, yeah, it's going to be a mashup of essays, poetry, and research. So, um, hopefully, it turns out pretty good.